Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. I'm actually going to talk about Fed tapering and why it actually might be a golden age of Bitcoin. Now, for those of you that don't know what Fed tapering is where they roll back the buying of securities and bonds by the federal government. Now, obviously, this usually coincides with somewhat of an economic downturn. Generally, presidents don't want this to happen on their term. Basically, like Obama didn't want it to happen on his term. Trump didn't want it to happen on his term. And Biden probably doesn't want it to happen on his term, but the Fed decided they're going to do it. Now, basically, like, I know in the last administration, they basically, like, just told the Fed not to do it. This time, they're not, because it actually does need to be done sometime. It just sucks for the person whose administration ends up uh, at the time that they decide to do it. But they do need to do it because they can't really buy the bonds and securities forever. And so they're going to taper, I think, starting soon, and it's going to last into next year, which means it might result in a downturn for the stock market. Now, here's the thing, like, people have been predicting a downturn for the stock market every year, or a market meltdown every year for the last 10 years. It hasn't happened. So I'm not going to predict it because generally it ends up being wrong. But if it does happen, and it does have a small downturn for the economy, I do believe it's actually a golden age for crypto, because crypto should not be as affected by this tapering as the traditional stock market and bond market. And I do believe that people will flood into crypto once they see that. Why? Because right now the Fed's not really buying cryptos anyways. They're buying securities and bonds. They are not buying Bitcoins. So the thing is, like, it really shouldn't affect this crypto market at all, because if you're tapering, which means you're rolling back the money that the federal government's pouring into these things, if the federal government's not pouring into your thing in the first place, you really shouldn't be affected. Yes, initially you will be affected by the downturn, but whatever that effect is, you should recover a lot faster than the other markets. And because of that, investors are going to see that, and investors are going to FOMO in to whatever market you are in. So crypto should actually be able to suck some money out of stocks and bonds due to tapering, because there was no money flowing in from the Fed anyways to Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. So I think some of the big investors, even some of the big banks, are going to look at this and saying, hey, you know what? We might want to invest more money into crypto to secure our position, because crypto isn't going to go down as much. Since since the Fed's artificially inflating stocks and bonds, and they're not artificially inflating crypto, once they stop artificially inflating stocks and bonds, then crypto will have just better performance, basically in that term. So you could actually see large investors pouring into crypto because of that. Now, a lot of these buys will probably be over the counter, but eventually that will affect the spot price, because that supply is eventually going to dry up, and it will actually push the prices higher and higher, OTC. And once the OTC prices get above the spot prices, the spot prices are going to have to go up, because if the OTC prices are somehow above or closer above the spot prices, people are going to buy all they can from the spot prices without pushing the price up too much. And eventually that will push the price up because of a lack of supply. Obviously, this has a lot to do with the 4-year cycle, because every 4 years, the actual amount coming in from BTC does cut in half. So the next one's obviously not until 2023. But that really doesn't matter if there's an overwhelming demand from institutions and institutional investors for Bitcoin and altcoins. And if Bitcoin goes up, altcoins will definitely go up, because usually what happens is Bitcoin goes up first, and then people are looking for more gains, and they know that altcoins generally rise more than Bitcoin during a bull market, so they'll actually diversify into altcoins a little bit later. So that's how it actually happens. So I know a lot of people are actually afraid of Fed tapering, because it might bring down the price of crypto, and it might, like in kind of a black swanish event initially, but we will recover very fast, much, much faster than the stock market, and we'll go up even higher, because people will see that we're recovering really fast, and they will want in on the action. Plus, like, there's already a lot of banks and big institutions looking at crypto anyways, and I think this will propel them in. They're also looking at legislation that will actually allow big banks to hold cryptocurrencies, and if that gets through, those big banks are definitely going to want to buy some cryptocurrency to hedge against the upcoming Fed tapering. Because I bet they know that the tapering isn't going to affect crypto nearly as much as it affects the entire market, because the federal government wasn't buying crypto anyways. So that's some really, really good news for us cryptocurrency holders, because we're already in crypto. Most of us got in at a much, much cheaper price, and we're going to be able to ride the wave and make some profit with this. So I wouldn't be afraid of Fed tapering, because even though it might cause crypto to go down at first, crypto should pop back up much, much faster. And because of that, it should be a very good investment. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.